This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News9, English news as it should be.
Welcome back. Our deep dive segment. Top focus here is how home buyers seem to get some relief thanks to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court is now all set to investigate builders and banks in the NCR housing scam. Home buyers in the National Capital Region can finally breathe a sigh of relief as a CBI probe is what's expected to crack on the nexus between builders and bankers using subvention schemes to exploit buyers. The court is hearing petitions now from many frustrated home buyers who claim that they've been misled by builders. They've been promised, in fact, builders have promised them that they are going to cover their EMI payments until possession, but later demanded payments for incomplete or stalled projects. Basically, did not live up to their commitment, and now many home buyers stuck and stranded. In Noida, Greater Noida, Gurugram, surrounding areas, over 378 stalled housing projects that comprises of 1.46 lakh units now left, that's still under construction, and that's left all the home buyers stranded despite the court's earlier orders for builders and bankers to submit compliance affidavits. Only a handful have finally complied. So what does this now mean for home buyers? With the CBI stepping in, an investigation is expected. It could likely expose the deep links between banks and developers and hold them accountable. Numerous projects that have been stalled, and it seems like uncertainty looms. Despite this intervention by the Supreme Court, how confident are the home buyers? I have them right here with me to give us a little more in detail on how they've been impacted. Joining me live is Nilesh Kumar, Unitech home buyer. Thanks very much, our panelists. Pankaj Gupta, JP home buyer. And also we have with us Amira Jain, real estate expert and founder of Oram Colonizers and Stride Home Build. Thanks very much for taking your time out and giving us your take on what this and how this could impact you and scores of home buyers. Nilesh Kumar of Unitech, could you give us your understanding on what the Supreme Court has said? It's of course cracked a whip, but this wait has been excruciatingly long. You know, there were assurances that were given to you even previously, but doesn't seem to have been fulfilled, and there's no real follow-up. Now with the CBI likely to step in, does that assure you?
Hi, thanks for giving us the opportunity to bring the plight of the home buyers here. Whatever I will speak, that will be majorly in context of the Unitech properties that are yet to be possession or yet to be given, particularly in Noida, because I am more aware and more linked to that particular project. So as far as Unitech home buyers is concerned, definitely that was a construction linked loan that was given by all the finance companies or either the HFC or the banks. It was a construction linked plan. The trouble pertaining to Unitech is that the currently many financiers are saying that they will not disburse further because certain payment are still pending that needs to be disbursed by the banks. So banks as of now are hesitant in disbursing that because the project is not complete and they are seeing it as a risk. But initially they did all the due diligence. They are supposed to do all the diligence and they disburse the loan. So when the case has been sanctioned, when the proposal has been sanctioned, they must disburse the entire amount to the home buyer so that undue pain which we have been facing for the last 15 years, almost 15 years. So that should at least be reduced a bit. So, and as far as the court has ordered this move, this is although a bit delayed, but yes, this is definitely a welcome move by the court. And definitely there might be something wrongdoing that might be happening from the builder side or from the bank side, that there might be something. But as far as the Unitech project is concerned, I will only request the court to maybe advise all the banks and all the HFCs, housing finance companies, to disburse the balance loan amount. They should not hold the balance amount because that will create further problem for the buyers.
How about JP home buyer? If Pankaj Gupta could jump in. JP home buyers are struggling equally, and I know how long this has taken for the JP projects to come up. But my limited question and point here is, how did home buyers even agree to this proposal where builders promise to cover your EMIs? I mean, it is an interesting proposition, but also a very risky one. But you still jumped into it and now you're stuck.
Hi, good evening. Thank you very much for giving me a chance to speak. See, I am a common man, and I remember those days when I used to go to JP head office for buying a flat, and I went there a couple of times, and there were a row of banks sitting there, and they were like pushing us to buy a home in JP, and they are ready to pay home loan on our behalf. And see what happens there. We are a common man, and we have more confidence when bank comes in and say that yes, we are going to pay the amount as a home loan, and you pay in EMIs. And later on, when something happens and they say, hey, why are we do not know anything, you owe us money and you keep paying us. We do not know builder. You go and check, you go to court, you do
Sir,
whatever.
do you see a
But
nexus between the banks and the builders? Is this a nexus between banks and builders, or do you believe that the banks are more helpless, if anything?
yes, personally, I believe this is a nexus between bank, builder, and even brokers, because you see, 10 years before, you used to get SMS, please go and buy home, only few unit left. You used to get newspaper, which used to have more than 30 pages, all are full of ads of home selling home buyers and approved by bank. There was a row, written below, approved by ICICI Bank, approved by this bank, approved by that bank. So what happens there? A common man cannot check all those conditions which
Correct.
are written. This is all we were more confident when bank is funding
Correct.
that project. So now after that, what happens? Bank, they just raise their hand and they just go away. I can tell you in COVID, what happened, I had to stop my EMI because I was supposed to change my job. And bank did not leave me. They
Yeah,
made me pay EMI along with delay and interest, which
yeah.
for the months I could not pay EMI.
No,
You
we know and
understand?
we
So
understand
that
very
is,
well the financial implications that you may have
yes.
had to face. It's agonizing. And I can only imagine that this is some lease of hope for you, with the Supreme Court saying that a CBI probe will be carried out. But finally, my question to our real estate expert, Amiraj, is a CBI probe really enough? Should there be more that could be done? We've seen builders flouting rules despite all the possible regulatory orders in place. So a CBI probe like this, will this deter them? Amiraj.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me in. No, definitely. See, this may not be enough just to get in CBI, but it is a start. To start somewhere. You see the plight of home buyers. I mean, two of my friends are here, and both have been short charged by builders and banks put together. Now, CBI can only establish the fact. In fact, only CBI can establish the fact that there has been some hobnobbing between bank and the builder. Now, I'll give you a small note that any funding that is done to any buyer while the project is under construction comes under a tripartite agreement. Now, the tripartite agreement comprises of three parties: the funding company, that is the bank or an HFC, the builder, and the buyer. Now, the smallest of these three parties is the buyer, and he probably would not have so much of knowledge about what he's signing and what he's not signing. And builders and banks both use this naivety to their own benefit. Now you can't tomorrow expect a buyer to check, oh, how good this builder is and how much financially secure they are. Now this is definitely stabbing in the back, while you first endorse a builder saying, oh, don't worry, we'll fund your project, and then later on, so I'm so sorry, you're not doing it rightly, so please, I am not going to fund it anymore. And yes, Mr. Buyer, please give me my EMI. But there has to be some accountability on financing companies as well.
No doubt.
They can't just walk away scot-free.
Amiraj, as I leave a thought behind for all the home buyers who are aggrieved, what would you say that they do and do at the earliest? What kind of steps can they take right away now that the Supreme Court has intervened?
Well, I think currently as the tripartite stands, the buyer will have to pay EMI interest. The buyer will have to make good of the EMIs not being paid by the bank. This is the legal position. But I think we need to move towards more radical solutions in this.
Yeah.
It's a very complex problem. And that radical solution has to be that having so forth, so on, so forth, government should come up with a regulation wherein every unit funded by any bank has to be under subvention by the builder till possession. Now, it may sound that I'm going back to subvention, but please hear me out. That the builder is responsible for the interest on the money that is being paid to him by the bank. Why a poor home buyer is being made a scapegoat while builder is delaying the project? So it is a radical solution, but government has to intervene now because it is now with RERA there is a lot of hope that is seen by the buyers. Builders are also mending their ways, and I'm sure newer projects that are being launched are now will be finished in time. But however, what happened to the 1.5 lakh home buyers that are left in lurch by the nexus between banks and the builders? So I think the government has to fix the responsibility of paying pre-EMI interest solely on the builder, because delay has nothing to do with the buyer. Delay has
Absolutely.
everything to
And
do.
let's just hope that compensation is also announced. I don't know if this is too far-fetched, but we're really hoping and wishing for the home buyers. At least that would act as a balm to their pain, you know. But all the very best. Thanks very much for joining us. We're going to continue tracking the story. We will keep the spotlight on it.
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News 9, English news as it should be.